Hey, welcome to the TestGuild show for the week of June 26th. This show is dedicated to helping you kick off the week right with all the latest and greatest in testing-related news and updates you need to know to start your week. So grab your favorite coffee and tea, and let's do this. All right, first up, this may not be news, but it's news to me. I always get asked, how do I test Unity games? I know there's some non-open source technologies that can help you. But I just learned about an open source Unity game driver from Ru Sindria, who told me all about the one that she created called Alt Unity Tester. Alt Unity Tester is an open source UI-driven test automation tool that helps you find objects in your game and allows you to interact with them using tests written in languages like C#, Python, and Java. Really cool stuff. Definitely check it out. All right, it has 54 stars. And as you can see, it's been around for 2 years, so it must be somewhat stable. Check out the documentation on what it does, how to get started, and it has pretty good documentation on getting started as well. And lists out some of the key features that's going to help you with your Unity testing. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. And speaking about Ru and about game testing and mobile testing in general, I'm actually going to be hosting a free event for Apply Tools tomorrow called The Future of Testing Mobile. They have a lot of awesome speakers covering all types of testing tips, tools, techniques, and best practices you can use to help you with your mobile testing efforts. Definitely check them out. So the free event is in the, I guess it's like the European time zone. So it's 2:30 or 3 a.m. for me. But if you live in Europe or other time zones, it might be better for you. If not, I would still register because you probably will get the recordings a few weeks after the event as well. Check out a lot of these awesome speakers here, world-renowned, really good lineup, as you can see. And hope to see you there. Also, don't know if you know about Robocop. I actually interviewed Auntie on my podcast a few weeks ago, and he told me all about what's happening in the RPA space. And it seems like a real promising space, especially for testers that already have some automation skills. I think having some extra RPA skills as well makes you perfect for using your skills in both functional automation and also business-related automation using RPA. I think this is a growing area that you should be involved in. The reason why I say that is I always say people to follow the money. So whenever I do my trends every year, I look at to see what people are investing money in, because usually they're investing money in a technology or a tool. It means the tool has some upside that they're hearing about in the market or for customers. And Robocop just got A-round funding for, I believe, $21 million. So Robocop has a open source tech stack, a cloud-native automation management platform, and consumption-based pricing. In addition to this round of funding, Robocop is unveiling its self-managed version of its orchestration and deployment platform, Robocop Cloud. So a big congratulations to Auntie and everyone else at Robocop. So I highly recommend, if you haven't already, check out some RPA. Definitely look at the robot framework that allows you to do both UI functional automation and also other types of automation like RPA. And I think it's a good time to get involved with that. So check it out. Also, not sure how many of you use Test Project, but I noticed this week that Test Project X version 3.0 was released. And basically what they say, their copy is Selenium Grid Driver or Project X. It allows you to run your test in parallel, really to achieve faster release cycles no matter your skill set, and allows you to enhance your whole team's collaboration between testers and developers. It's a nice framework that you can use with other folks and have it all in one place and be able to run it at scale in the cloud as well. So the main new features of Test Project X is the parallel execution on a single agent. So if you install Test Project, you can install agents on different machines, and then you can tell it what machines to run it on. So it's nice to be able to run on separate servers if you wanted to. And also has version control now with GitHub integration, which I'm sure is a big point for a lot of folks. Check out all the other features that are available now in version 3.0. So if you haven't already, definitely check out Test Project also, and let me know your thoughts on Test Project X. Also, I saw a recent survey that was done in Forbes on the state of testing in 2021. So let's take a quick dive on what they found and get your opinion on what you think is actually the state of test automation in 2021. One of the trends that came up is actually a lot of people are still using BDD, behavior-driven development. If used correctly, I think it's a game changer. But in my experience, at the enterprise level, It's usually just an extra layer that people are just using BDD as an automation framework. I've talked about this before. BDD is not test automation. They're two separate things. However, one of the side benefits of using BDD correctly with collaboration is you get executable specifications in the end, or one of the end benefits could be getting executable specifications in the end. So here's the recent article in Forbes. And let's see what some of the key findings were. So when they asked folks what the skills were important in 3 to 5 years, obviously automation was frequently mentioned. I'm not going to get into the philosophy of whether it's right or wrong, but these are the results of the survey. And 97% of folks said that functional automation was either important or very important. So that's a large percentage of survey folks that answered that way. Also, CI/CD was a big takeaway. And it's across all types of automation, not just QA and testing teams. So that's something I've seen as well. More and more folks getting involved in it, not just a certain group. I just found this was interesting is BDD says 27% of organizations report they're working on this approach and have increased to close to 60% since 2018. There's good and bad with that. If done correctly, as I mentioned, that's awesome. But I have a feeling that it's mostly done just to create an automation framework, which is a bad thing. So BDD seems to be growing. From my perception, I didn't know it was growing, but this survey makes it seem like BDD is a growing trend. So there's some of the key takeaways. Curious to know if it matches up with your experience as well. John Smart Ferguson, who created Serenity, who when I was working full time as an automation engineer was my go-to framework, really smart guy, talks about how he's seen using BDD for manual testing as well to help teams accelerate their testing processes and get everything documented and help collaboration. So I highly recommend you check out his post that he posted this week also. John Ferguson Smart released a post last week, a few days ago. Does BDD help with manual testing? So if BDD is a growing trend in automation, how about manual testing? Seems like this is getting a lot of love. So I'd give this a quick read and see if you agree with John or not, and see how you maybe can incorporate, if you are using BDD, one of those 30% of folks that are, maybe it can also help you with your manual testing efforts as well. And what is John's key takeaways from this? In security news, not sure if you've seen the article on Peloton, but Peloton was hacked, which makes me really scared because it means a lot of these things that you think aren't really hackable or people aren't looking at are hackable. And the hack that they found was, so as I mentioned, this is pretty wild. Peloton users are being warned of a new security threat related to touchscreen on the Bike Plus that could potentially be controlled by hackers. So it can actually spy on riders using the microphone and camera. So you may ask why it's a big deal. Well, hackers could install apps that look like Netflix or Spotify and steal your login information. And obviously, it's not cool if someone's spying on you by your camera and microphone. So this is how it would look if someone hacked into my treadmill. As you could see, not a pretty sight. So I think it's going to be a growing threat. It's kind of like an IoT type of device that we're starting to see. It's not really a web browser. So we're having things embedded that are IoT enabled on different devices. And you need to start thinking about certain ways how someone may be malicious in using your particular product or software and how to test for that. And now to performance and site reliability news. Catch Release just released a 2021 report on the state of SRE. Here's some of their findings. Curious to know if you see the same things as well. So let's dive in and take a look at what they found. So here's some highlights. Many companies haven't established cooperative baselines for SRE conditions. Companies are using a multi-provider strategy across the board. AI is exciting, but most people have not fully adapted or embraced it. And SRE should look to expand the boundaries of observability so they become more customer focused. Observability. That's all I've been hearing the past year or so. I was just curious to know, to get your take on it also. All right, that's it for this episode of the TestGuild News Show. If you have any news you'd like to share with me, you'd like me to share on an upcoming episode, drop me a line at news@testguild.com, and I'll try to include it in an upcoming show. Cheers.